this literally just went down not too long ago. Wanted to make this video just talking about, living life and doing the things that you feel you want to do, especially when you're not breaking any laws, you're not hurting anybody, you know, you're not hurting yourself, you're not abusing anything. It's nothing wrong with living life. When I watch these dating shows, you know, there's nothing wrong with someone asking, oh, have you ever been married? Or do you have kids or something like that? Or I remember somebody popped a balloon when the person said they hadn't been in a relationship in quite a few years. Because that was a problem for them. That I guess that person didn't bed hop or whatever. But here is what I have to say to that. There's nothing wrong with living life. You know? It's like if you have kids, if you at one point in your life you was at a point where you felt something hardcore for somebody, you was ready to have kids, you was ready to get married, or you wound up getting pregnant and the relationship didn't work out. That person, turned out to be abusive, which is something that happened to me. You know, so what? When you get older and you start dating, it seems as if people who wants to date you now you don't even know if their relations is going to work out with them, but it's almost like it was just expected. They expect somebody to have a clean slate and just to have never have lived life in any way, you know? And I just feel like whoever you are, don't ever be, you know, ashamed of your life. Don't ever be ashamed of the decisions, that you made in your life. Me personally, both of my kids are grown. I'm proud of both of them. Both of them in college trying to do something, doing something with themselves. My son, he recently just got, a second job and he's going to be working in college like I was. I mean, I'm proud of my kids. You know, my daughter in school to be a doctor. What? And I'm, just went back to school for something recently and now I'm about to go again and start my own business. You know, and it's like whoever I should meet in the future, okay, you can ask me whatever. I'm gonna tell you whatever. But why y'all need to get it out your head that this person is just waiting for you to come along. You know what I mean? It's almost as if they expect you to not have lived at all, and it's like you just gonna have to be you just gonna have to be in your feelings, bro. Cause I have two children. Okay, now to me they're newborns, but in reality, all right, they grown. But at the end of the day, that one that's y'all. I can't stand them. I just bought a bug zapper off Amazon. It works, but still be. But you know, that's the one thing. That's the one thing about my life. That I love is that I'm not high. High Zane Hoss, whatever your name is. Um, you don't ever let anybody make you feel bad about living life. You know, you go ahead and do what you feel you want to do. You know, and so therefore you will have no regrets. I know that there were people, even when I wanted to go to school for certain things, they had something negative to say, got rid of them. You know, you don't need that in your life, and I am about to be 43 in July. Okay. I am not married. And when it comes to a woman being unmarried, or shoot, even a man sometimes being unmarried, and you're that old, people be thinking to themselves, oh, you're washed up, you're used up, or you got all this baggage. If that's what you want to think, hey, you go right ahead. Because I'm still going to keep living my life. And whoever is watching, I encourage you to keep living your life. There is nothing to be ashamed of. Okay? And I'm not going to lie. I tell both my children, things would have been a lot better had I been married and, settled down and stuff like that. But what society doesn't understand is we all don't have the same set of parents who had the same set of values. Okay? You could be anybody. You could have been somebody who's been neglected. You could have grew up in a household where you was being abused. Anything could have happened. And people just expect you to just be perfection, straight perfection, whatever. I say whatever because I'm not gonna lie, I don't encourage, people to go have kids without out of wedlock. And I don't encourage my children to just be whoever. My kids are very careful about stuff like that. But I've been telling my kids this for a long time that they shouldn't be out there doing adult things if you're not ready for adult responsibility. So therefore, they took heed to that and put their work for it, put other things first. Other things took priority. Take care of yourself, focus on yourself, build your body up, whatever. It seems to me like it's like people just expect you so bad and to be ashamed. Nobody, I'm not ashamed of anything. I love my life and I loved being a mother. And the second that my son, my baby, had became an adult, I asked the Lord, I said, why couldn't I have 20 more years of them being kids? Because that is how much I loved being a mother and supporting them. And just having those experience with my children and knowing what real love is and what real family is all about. If a man comes into my life and doesn't want to provide for me and love me like I wanted to be there for my kids, when you have somebody that you love in your life, you're always looking for ways to make their life better. And that's what my kids taught me, regardless of how they got here, it was turned into something very, very beautiful. So don't worry about people. Live your life, do you, and take accountability for your actions, be responsible, and make good choices.